Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 5.
Vandalism hit the valley over the weekend with one incident in West Fargo and the other in downtown Fargo. 25 trees and limbs were cut down by someone with a chainsaw in the early morning hours yesterday at a West Fargo park. And the other incident involved smashed and broken property in front of a boutique. Valley News Team's crime and safety reporter Bailey Hurley looks into both crimes and has more.
To take the good with the bad, the up with the down, and try to see it as a positive thing.
Just 3 days after reopening their doors, Mint and Basil shop workers found their outside decorations smashed all over the sidewalk on Sunday morning.
Had vandalism happen to your property is always a sting.
Goldammer says they didn't have cameras at the time, but are working to install them now. He also says he thinks it's important for all downtown shops to have cameras up and running.
We can all kind of attack these problems as they happen, because one camera might not get somebody, but another will. And it's for the safety of us who live here, who work here.
And yesterday morning, Elmwood Park in West Fargo was hit by vandals with a chainsaw.
It's really sad to see that somebody would come in here and think that they could just take this into their own hands.
Taking down over 25 trees and limbs and leaving the rubble behind for the park district to clean up.
It's an added expense to already, we're really busy this time of the year, and it's just not a headache that we needed to deal with.
The park district is looking into getting security cameras for Elmwood, as this isn't their first problem on the property. Bailey Hurley, Valley News Live.
Police are still investigating both of these incidents. So far, there are no suspects. If you have any information on either of these cases, you can call police. No big heat wave for us today, just hanging out in breezy, coolish weather. But we're wondering if anything will impact outdoor activities this evening. Hutch?
Thanks so much, Andrea. Most of us will see quiet conditions, and as we take a gander at the radar, there are a few storms or cells of rain popping up in the central Dakotas. We cannot rule out an isolated shower or thunder shower, but it should be a very quiet night for most of us. In Fargo, temperatures slip into the 60s and will quickly fall into the 50s as we head to bed tonight. Winds should taper off a little bit, Andrea, as we go through the evening hours. Likewise for Grand Forks, we'll be in the 50s by midnight tonight under clear skies. And again, the best chance of any showers or storms way out west and maybe across central portions of Minnesota. We're keeping our eyes on Thursday. There's a risk of severe weather, including some hail and windy thunderstorms. We'll have the latest in your hour-by-hour forecast here in just a few moments.
All right, thanks, Hutch. Primary voting is going on right now, and this year in Grand Forks, there seems to be some voting confusion. Valley News Team's Ryan Laughlin joins us live now from the Alerus Center. Ryan, so added confusion on where to vote this year.
Yeah, Andrea, I've heard from multiple people that have come here to the Alerus Center to vote only to find out it's the wrong location for them. Now, one reason could be because the last two city votes, the Alerus Center was the only location to cast a vote. Not the case this time around. And now some people say they might not vote at all because of the added inconvenience.
That's what I said. I go, I would think you'd want my vote. And they just said that's the way it is.
Julie Oline ran over to the Alerus Center to cast her vote in the primary.
Just a lunch break right now. I go back to work. I don't have time to go to Holy Family.
She works 2 jobs in between now and when she has to work again.
I don't have time unless I can get out of work early.
Actually, it has occurred quite a bit out here.
Tom Harlow is the election inspector at the Alerus Center.
So it does occur. We do see it, and then we have to send them to the correct locations.
He says the reason why people need to go to certain locations is because who is on the ballot may differ depending on which neighborhood you live in. He also says there's some intentionality behind the old school methods. Keeping data and results stored locally makes it harder for someone to hack an election. But we asked about the ballots themselves. Why not generate a ballot based on the person, not the location, so people could vote wherever was most convenient?
That's definitely thinking outside the box, right, where you generate the ballot to match where you walk in. That'd be like 21st century. Wow.
That's a change that would have to take place with leaders in Bismarck to make voting more accessible to people like Julie.
I get that they have people go to certain areas, but on a situation like this, I would think just take my vote.
Now, the foot traffic's definitely picked up here in the last hour. Lots of people coming and going, and it's still not too late to cast your vote. Polls close at 7. Just make sure you bring your photo ID, and it has to have a current address on it. That way you'll be able to vote. From Grand Forks, I'm Ryan Laughlin, Valley News Live.
All right, thanks, Ryan. Later on Valley News Live at 6, we'll have an update on the sheriff's race in Grand Forks. And as he mentioned, there's still time for you to get out and vote for tonight's primary election. In Grand Forks County, polls close at 7 o'clock tonight, and in Cass County, they close at 8, so check your county website for polling location information. Among the races that we are following are 2 spots on the Fargo City Commission, 5 seats also on the Fargo Public School Board. And be sure to stick with Valley News Live for all of your primary election coverage. We'll have results from tonight's important races on Valley News Live at 9 on Fargo CW and Valley News Live at 10. And you can also find results under the Elections tab on our website, valleynewslive.com. A jail inmate in North Dakota's Ward County accused of breaking another inmate's jaw in 2 places during a fight over ramen noodles has been sentenced to serve 126 days. A judge also ordered 33-year-old Jesse Jones to pay more than $2,000 in expenses. Jones pleaded guilty last week to misdemeanor assault. Authorities have released the name of a 63-year-old Jamestown man who took his own life after officers tried to negotiate with him. The call came into police around 12:40 yesterday morning after someone said 63-year-old David Ackerman texted them about suicidal thoughts. When officers arrived at the Anchor Bar just north of the city, they tried to talk the man down from his threats. Ackerman ended up taking his own life. Officers did not fire their weapons during the negotiations. The North Dakota Bureau of Criminal Investigation is still looking into the death. Minnesota officials have released pictures of the man responsible for hitting 2 children during a police chase. It happened at a Minneapolis park Monday morning when troopers tried pulling over an SUV at Interstate 94 and 53rd Street. They say 27-year-old Kabar Powell refused to stop, left the highway, and ended up crashing into the siblings at the park, 3 of them. 2 of the kids are at North Memorial Hospital with life-threatening injuries. State troopers eventually caught and arrested Powell. They found a gun in the SUV he was driving. The State Patrol says when it comes to a decision on when to pursue a suspect and when not to, every situation is different and that it's up to the trooper and a supervisor to make the call they feel is the safest. Food trucks, trailers, and carts are booming in the greater FM area. Over the last 2 years, more have shown up in the community, serving everything from tacos to sushi and tater tots. Pico Food Truck says they have added a second truck because of the high demand for the portable food around the valley. Potato Brothers will celebrate 1 year being open and say in their short time, they have already had repeat customers.
We had good response last year, but this year being able to start right when the weather got nice, it's been good to kind of get a whole season ahead of us this year. So we booked a lot more festivals and events, and then we'll actually be celebrating our anniversary party at Junkyard on July 27th, Friday, July 27th.
Many of the food trucks say their Facebook page is the best way to find out where they're serving up their food next. Apparently, there is such a thing as too much fun. A young woman at the recently held Winstock Music Festival has a story to tell, or not tell, to her kids and grandkids after getting her head stuck in the tailpipe of a truck. Yes, a truck tailpipe. At this point, the details of how she got there or what motivated the incident are unclear, but alcohol may have played a role. The McLeod County Sheriff's Department confirms the woman was cited for underage drinking and escorted from the grounds once her head was removed from the exhaust pipe. The Winsted Fire Department was called in and used a power saw to aid in the extrication. There's no word yet on whether the truck owner billed her out for the unexpected modification. The video posted on Facebook has been viewed over 1 million times. The 3-month-old who was seriously hurt after being hit in the head by a softball could be going home soon. This is McKenna Hovenga, and she's been battling for her life for weeks. After she was hit in the head at her dad's game, she was airlifted to Mayo Clinic for a skull fracture. While in the hospital, McKenna had several seizures a day. For the second time in 3 weeks, a Powerball ticket bought in the tiny town of Carlton, Minnesota, matched the first 5 numbers drawn to win $1 million. A Hibbing man was, quote, touring around Gooseberry Falls when he made a pit stop at the Quick Trip convenience store and purchased 1 Powerball ticket. Well, that ticket matched the first 5 Powerball numbers drawn on June 9th. Now, on May 19th, a Powerball ticket purchased at Minute Mart Carlton matched the first 5 numbers drawn to win $1 million. That prize has not been claimed yet.